Have you ever noticed how some women seem to move through life effortlessly, commanding respect and influence without saying much at all? Today, I'll reveal the hidden rituals and subtle actions that give them this quiet, unstoppable power. Composure is not an accident, and it is not something that exists in isolation. High status women cultivate it deliberately through daily rituals, repeated habits, and consistent choices that reinforce inner strength and outward poise. These rituals are not flashy or publicized. They happen in quiet moments, often unseen by others. But they create an unshakable foundation that defines how they carry themselves in every situation. The first thing to understand is that composure begins with self-awareness. High-status women know their triggers, their weaknesses, and their emotional patterns. They observe themselves with honesty and without judgment, recognizing moments when they feel tension, irritation, or self-doubt. By identifying these moments early, they prevent reactive behavior and preserve control over their presence. Awareness alone is not enough. It must be paired with consistent practice, the deliberate cultivation of calm under pressure, so that their composure becomes instinctive rather than forced. Daily routines are a cornerstone of this practice. High-status women structure their mornings, evenings, and even their workdays in ways that prioritize mental clarity, emotional stability, and physical presence. Whether it is through meditation, journaling, exercise, or mindful reflection, these rituals reinforce self-control and calmness. Meditation, for example, is not just about relaxation. It is a training ground for the mind. In the quiet stillness, they practice observing thoughts without attachment, learning to respond rather than react. Journaling is another tool, allowing them to process emotions, clarify intentions, and strategize their actions with precision. Physical routines such as stretching, yoga, or intentional movement connect the body to the mind, reminding them that composure is both an internal and external practice. Through repetition, these daily rituals condition the mind and body to maintain poise, even in the face of chaos. High-status women also cultivate composure through selective exposure to stimuli. They understand that what they consume, news, social media, conversations, and environments directly impacts their emotional state. They do not allow themselves to be overwhelmed by negativity or drawn into distractions that erode focus and calm. Instead, they create boundaries that protect their energy and preserve clarity of thought. This selective engagement is a subtle but powerful ritual. It ensures that they step into interactions with a centered mind, unshaken by external chaos. By consistently curating their environment, they reinforce the stability that becomes an inseparable part of their presence. Another essential ritual is reflection on intentions and values. High-status women often spend time assessing why they do what they do and how their actions align with their long-term goals. This reflection is not occasional. It is habitual. By grounding themselves in values, they anchor their behavior in purpose rather than emotion. When challenges arise, this alignment allows them to respond with dignity and foresight rather than reactionary impulse. It also ensures that their composure is authentic. People sense when calmness is grounded in principles versus when it is superficial or performative. These internal rituals, invisible to the casual observer, create a stability that radiates outward, influencing the way others perceive them without the need for explanation or justification. High-status women also employ rituals of preparation. Whether entering a business meeting, a social event, or a personal encounter, they anticipate possible scenarios and rehearse their responses mentally. This preparation is subtle, often internal, but it equips them to handle unexpected situations with grace. They visualize composure in action, imagine maintaining calm under provocation, and practice the rhythm of speech, gestures, and facial expressions. This ritual of preemptive readiness transforms potential stress into controlled presence. People may see only a composed, confident woman, but behind that image lies a disciplined preparation process that ensures nothing catches her off guard. Composure is reinforced by a ritual of self-care. High-status women understand that energy, mental clarity, and emotional regulation are not infinite resources. They prioritize rest, nutrition, and recovery, knowing that neglect erodes patience, focus, and calm. These routines may seem mundane: sleeping adequately, eating mindfully, scheduling downtime, but they are essential building blocks of presence. By honoring their own needs consistently, they maintain a reservoir of composure that can be drawn upon in every interaction. When they appear unflappable, it is not by chance. It is the cumulative effect of daily rituals that sustain their mental, emotional, and physical equilibrium. High-status women also engage in rituals of observation and learning. They watch interactions, know patterns, and study human behavior, all without immediate judgment. This practice enhances their situational awareness and equips them to navigate complex social dynamics effortlessly. By observing silently, they identify how to respond effectively, when to intervene, and when to remain in the background. This continuous learning is not passive, it is an intentional ritual of mental sharpening. Their composure is therefore not only internal, but informed by a deep understanding of the world around them, making them both confident and wise in their presence. Gratitude and perspective are often overlooked rituals that reinforce composure. High-status women practice gratitude regularly, whether through journaling, reflection, or conscious acknowledgement of small victories. This ritual shifts focus away from frustration or comparison and toward a sense of abundance and stability. Similarly, perspective allows them to evaluate situations without overreaction, recognizing temporary challenges without letting them disrupt inner equilibrium. These practices reinforce emotional resilience, allowing them to remain composed even when faced with setbacks or provocation. High-status women also ritualize self-talk and mental framing. They consistently guide their thoughts toward empowerment rather than anxiety, toward solutions rather than complaints, and toward presence rather than distraction. This mental rehearsal shapes responses in real time, enabling them to maintain composure effortlessly. Positive self-talk is not wishful thinking. It is a deliberate practice that rewires their mental habits, ensuring that when external pressures arise, their internal state remains steady. This ritualistic approach to mindset is a secret that few notice but is central to the effortless poise they display. Composure is further strengthened by rituals of accountability and reflection on progress. High-status women routinely evaluate their behavior, noting where they succeeded in maintaining calm, where they faltered, and how to improve. This is not self-criticism, it is constructive evaluation designed to strengthen consistency. By making this reflection habitual, they create a feedback loop that continually reinforces composure, making it a reliable trait rather than a sporadic occurrence. Even in communication, they practice rituals that reinforce poise. They measure tone, pace, and choice of words, ensuring that interactions reflect calm authority rather than reactionary emotion. Pauses, measured gestures, and intentional eye contact are part of a daily practice of refining how they show up in every conversation. These rituals create an energy that others respond to instinctively. People listen more carefully, respect more readily, and feel more compelled to engage positively simply because of the composed presence they project. Through these daily, invisible, and intentional rituals, high-status women construct a life that radiates control, dignity, and influence. Composure is not an act, a mask, or a performance. It is the cumulative effect of disciplined attention to mind, body, and spirit. Every ritual, whether mental, physical, or emotional, adds a layer of stability that allows them to navigate life with authority and grace, making them magnetic, respected, and quietly powerful. Influence is not always loud, and high-status women understand this better than anyone. They do not rely on commands, arguments, or displays of force to shape how others respond to them. Instead, they influence through subtle, deliberate actions, recognizing that the smallest gestures, choices, and behaviors can have the greatest impact over time. Influence through subtle action is the art of creating change without needing to announce it, of shaping perception without drawing attention to one's efforts, and of guiding interactions in a way that is both natural and commanding. It is a quiet, strategic power that often goes unnoticed by the untrained eye, but is deeply felt by those who experience it. High-status women understand that every interaction is an opportunity to influence. They do not wait for the spotlight to assert authority. Instead, they act in ways that create trust, respect, and admiration naturally. A simple nod, a deliberate pause before speaking, or a well-timed question can shift the energy in a room more than hours of talking. These subtle actions are not random, they are intentional and purposeful. By mastering small gestures and movements, They communicate confidence, competence, and composure without needing to say a word. People are drawn to them because they sense the underlying structure of self-possession and strategy that guides every action. Timing plays a critical role in this form of influence. High-status women know when to act, when to speak, and when to step back. They understand that the moment you choose to contribute can be far more impactful than the content itself. By observing and waiting for the right moment, they maximize the effect of their actions. A glance, a pause, or a carefully chosen comment at the perfect time can shift the course of a conversation, inspire decisions, or alter perception. This strategic timing ensures that their subtle actions carry weight, authority, and credibility, creating influence without ever needing to force it. Consistency is another key component. High-status women cultivate habits of reliability, discretion, and calm energy. Even the smallest actions, how they greet people, how they follow through on promises, how they handle challenges, accumulate over time into a reputation of dependability and authority. Subtle influence is built slowly, through repeated demonstrations of competence, restraint, and insight. People begin to trust their judgment instinctively, seek their counsel, and respect their presence because they have learned that actions, even the quietest, consistently reflect integrity and poise. Nonverbal communication is central to subtle influence. High-status women are masters of posture, gesture, facial expression, and tone. They understand that influence is not only conveyed through words, but through the energy they project. A steady gaze, a calm stance, or a subtle smile can communicate confidence, openness, or authority more effectively than a speech ever could. These behaviors are carefully practiced, almost ritualistic, yet they appear natural and effortless. The impact is profound because people often respond more strongly to nonverbal cues than to verbal commands, making subtle action a powerful, often invisible tool of influence. Listening is closely intertwined with subtle action. By listening attentively and responding thoughtfully, high-status women create influence indirectly. People feel heard, understood, and valued, which fosters trust and connection. In contrast to those who dominate conversations or push their opinions, high-status women shape discussions by guiding energy, asking questions, and drawing out information in ways that make others feel involved while subtly steering outcomes. Influence through subtle action relies on this ability to encourage participation, elicit responses, and adjust the direction of interactions without overt pressure or force. High-status women also influence by controlling their reactions. They understand that how they respond is more impactful than what is said. By remaining composed, measured, and deliberate in every reaction, they set the tone for interactions and guide others' behavior subconsciously. A calm presence in a tense situation can de-escalate conflict, inspire confidence, and assert authority without aggression. People naturally mirror the energy they project, and high-status women use this principle to shape the environment subtly, maintaining control while appearing gracious and composed. The principle of selective engagement is central to subtle influence. High-status women do not intervene in every situation or contribute to every conversation. They choose where to exert energy, focusing on moments where their presence or action can create the most meaningful effect. This selective approach ensures that their actions are valued and noticed rather than diluted by overexposure. When they do act, it is meaningful, precise, and influential. By avoiding unnecessary involvement, they maintain an aura of authority, creating impact not through volume, but through precision. Influence through subtle action also depends on empathy and emotional intelligence. High-status women are highly attuned to the emotions, motivations, and desires of those around them. They observe, interpret, and adjust their behavior to foster alignment, cooperation, and respect. This attunement allows them to act in ways that feel natural to others, so influence is not felt as pressure or manipulation, but as guidance and inspiration. Subtle actions, like offering a thoughtful insight, acknowledging someone's contribution, or expressing calm reassurance, can shift group dynamics and shape outcomes quietly yet effectively. High-status women also leverage the power of anticipation. They predict needs, challenges, and reactions before others even recognize them. This foresight allows them to act preemptively in subtle ways that shape perception and control situations. A well-timed suggestion, a prepared solution, or simply appearing composed when others are stressed conveys competence and foresight. The quiet influence of anticipation demonstrates capability without ostentation, allowing high-status women to guide outcomes effortlessly while preserving an image of calm authority. Small rituals and daily practices support this subtle influence. From organizing their schedule to structuring conversations, high-status women practice consistency in everything they do. They anticipate interactions, refine gestures, and cultivate habits that reinforce their authority in ways that are almost invisible. Every deliberate action, whether a reassuring touch, a nod of encouragement, or a measured smile, creates ripple effects that build credibility, trust, and respect. These actions may seem insignificant individually, but collectively they shape perception and influence behavior powerfully over time. Subtle influence is also rooted in patience. High-status women understand that immediate results are rare, and lasting influence requires endurance. They plant seeds through action, observation, and example, understanding that the effect accumulates and manifests gradually. People begin to adopt their patterns, respect their decisions, and defer to their judgment because the influence was cultivated consistently, silently, and strategically. Patience ensures that influence is sustainable, authentic, and deeply respected, rather than fleeting or superficial. High-status women recognize the power of absence as well. Not showing up, not responding immediately, or maintaining strategic distance can amplify influence. By controlling access to themselves and their energy, they create demand, curiosity, and respect. Their presence, when exercised, carries impact precisely because it is not constant or taken for granted. Absence, like subtle action, is a tool of influence. It allows others to appreciate the value of attention, guidance, and presence. Finally, high-status women combine all these elements: timing, observation, composure, selective engagement, empathy, anticipation, and ritual into a consistent pattern of subtle action that defines their influence. People may not always understand why they are drawn to them, why they listen, or why they respect their judgment, but the effect is undeniable. Influence through subtle action is invisible, effortless, and powerful. A form of mastery that shapes relationships, environments, and outcomes without overt effort or performance.